Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back with the Virtual Modern Sports Car Championship NARS Series live from Road America. I am James Parker, going to be joined in the booth by one Mr. Michael David here this evening. He's going to come and join me and guide us and spend his time with me running through all the action here this evening as well. And well, it's going to be quite action-packed, let's put it that way. Let's have a look at the schedule at the moment. We are at Road America for round 8. Then we've got the 60 minutes of VIR for round 9. 1.2 hours of Indianapolis on the 26th of September, so it's quite a long break between the August and September. And then we finish the season off for the 1.2 hours of Road Atlanta. You're looking out for that one because it's going to be exciting. The track itself, whoa, why has the track gone and done that one? Let's bring that up there, there you go. The track itself, as you can see, is 4.05 miles, 6.52 kilometers. Built in 1955. It's got 14 turns on this circuit. Up, down, and round. That's all you got to remember, because you do go up, you do go down, and you definitely go round at the carousel. I can tell you that much as well. They've got to be careful. The orange zone, all the way around from the start line, all the way around from turn 11. They can make overtakes, just any penalties within that zone will get penalised harsher throughout the race. So they've got to be careful of what is going on. Strategies for the GT cars. Well, they're on the medium tyres. Fuel, 30 to 35 minutes, one stop. And as you can see, the FE Vantage is going to be the car to beat. And I can tell you now, they are setting some blistering times for the Vantages with the ME NSXs behind them. Strategies for the Hypercars. Well, it's medium and hards for them, 20 to 25 minutes, 2 to 3 stops. And then you've got the rear-wheel drive ARX or the all-wheel drive Tipo 6 would be the cars to beat here as well. Challenges: save tyres, don't get desperate, nail the carousel and the kink. Where have we heard them words before? Let's make sure that they can get around the carousel and the kink together, because I can tell you one thing, if they don't, it's all going to go wrong. Right, we're going to bring you up the standings now as well. In leading standings, start off as always with the Hypercars. It's Dan Kirby out in front on 128 points, with Alec King second, then Mike Bell, Brian Hall, Franco Alvarez, Ben Kesby, Adrian Rice, Carl Vesser, Troy Uyan, and then Don Hunter leading the way in the Hypercars currently at the moment. On the Hypercar ARMS, Jerry Chen Out in front at 129 points, Ed Scarpope and Wayne Galvin not too far behind. Norm Graff, George Angelidis and Lanny Hall round out the top 6. Then Gilles Lalonde, Diego Rodriguez, Felipe Ducati, Gwilym Benck, Jerry Hamilton, Carl Stroll, Jason Whitehead, Tom Mountjoy and Ken Scott finish out the Hypercar AMS. In the GT3s and Pros, it's Eduardo Benica out in front on 125 points for JT Tammy and Eugene Missour. 1, 2, 3. Then Michael Locke, Johnny Gutierrez, Mateus Santos, Matthew Overton, James Walker, Ross Smith, Max Dunlap, Alicia Neto and Eric Jacobs. And then alongside all that, you can see on the right hand side there's 13 to 24 there on the right hand side. So anybody you fancy, have a look. I'm sure they're on there. In the GT3 AMS is Alan Holden out in front at the moment with Stephen Miller in second place, and then James Bowders, and you've got Sean Kelly, Schlickling, Ryan Reyes, Alexander McQuarrie, Josh McGlinchey, Cole McMillan, Tom Nacella, Oliver Day, Carl Struho, Gino Bardelli, Michael Mudge, Philip Stock, Stacey Scott brings up in 16th place. In the team standings currently, Flying Kiwi Racing with Jerry Chen and Alec King are out in front on 246, with the Hall brothers there in second, Champion Motorsport in third, Barely Functional Motorsports in fourth, Red Weasel Racing in fifth, and PHO Real Slim Racing in sixth, Shadowtree Motorsports 7th, Vice Racing in 8th, CMS GT3 round out 9th place. That's pretty much everything that's going on. I'm keeping you up to date here as well. We are just in the warm-up for the next 6.5 minutes. Let's bring Michael into the booth. You listen to me waffle on. Michael, welcome in. How are you, dude?
I'm doing just fine, James. How about yourself?
Not bad at all, mate. Not bad at all. So, considering it's 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's true. Out there on the wrong side of the pond for this race, that's for sure. Out here in Milwaukee, I'll tell you one thing: we're in the American Northwest, Central America. They like cheese out here, cheese and beer. I know you've driven this track a million times. I'm sure you've seen there is a bridge with a semi-truck parked on it that says "We are the real cheese people." That is the bridge right there. Oh no, I apologize. It's a little bit earlier on in the lap, but yeah, this area of the country, they love their beer and they love their cheese and they love their racing. So I'm excited to be here tonight, and I'm excited to see how well these GT3 cars and these hypercars can behave themselves. It's going to be tight through a couple parts of the track, but there is plenty of overtaking opportunity, so it shouldn't be too bad. This track is not too narrow, so we should be all right, but there are going to be some tricky spots on the track, especially the kink. So it should be very interesting, but I just want to make sure that everybody behaves themselves. As we see here in the warm-up lap, the 10-minute warm-up lap they have, we see things getting a little dicey there with all those GT3 cars racing through, and then a couple hypercars trying to get around, and down the straightaway they go. But yeah, it could be very interesting at certain points. I'm just excited to be here. I will say this, you mentioned it earlier, that Aston Martin Vantage is just throwing down some ridiculously fast laps. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the GT3 cars go, because right now it looks like the Aston Martins are just going to be running away with it.
Yeah, the Aston Martin of Eduardo Benica, they're doing an absolutely stunning job, I've got to be honest, in qualifying. Absolutely amazing. It's down to the late 203s, I believe. So for Eduardo Benica, it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on. Couple of penalties. Now, one of them notoriously here is one Mr. Alec King. He got a stop and go at Mosport last time out. Vinicius Goncalves has got a drive through going on from Watkins Glen, and Jerry Hamilton cannot qualify there from Laguna Seca. So there's still a few people who have been in a little bit naughty. Obviously last time out on Canadian Tire it was Dan Kesby taking a win in the Hypercar Pros, Jerry Chen in the Hypercar AMS, Eduardo Benica in the GT3 Pros, and then Alan Holden in the GT3 AMS taking the victory. So hence the boost for them guys up in the championship here as well. Road America, you know, as you say, we know it well. It's 14 corners deep. The kink, Canada corner, all areas that could go wrong. You've got the Moraine sweep from turn 3s down to 5 that could go wrong as well. How are we expecting the hypercars and the GT3s to behave here? Because you say it's a wide track, but as you can see on your screen now, you can barely get GT3 side by side at certain points.
Well, I say it's a wide track, as in it's wider at most points than Mosport. Canadian Tire, that's a tricky track when you have you know, any sort of car racing going on, especially when you have multi-class racing with all these hypercars and the GT3 cars. But we come here to Road America. Road America is a little bit wider. There are plenty of opportunities to overtake for these hypercars. Now, car to car, class to class, it's going to be a little bit more tricky, but I think we're going to see a little less congestion. Probably the second or third time we go through the field with the hypercars coming through the GT3s should spread out a little bit. It should be safe and sound. So I think, you know, the first or second time we come through, it's going to be a little tricky, a little dicey. But I think as the night goes on, as the race goes on, it's not going to become too much of an issue. I see, yes, when you put two GT3 cars side by side, it's kind of going to be tight, like putting two pool balls into a tight pocket there. But when you got a GT3 car and a hypercar, the hypercars, you know, they're not as big, so it should be a little bit easier for these guys to get cut through. So, and like I said, I just keep coming back to it. There's plenty of places to overtake. We were talking at the beginning before we came live, you know, there's opportunities. These GT3 cars are so much better under braking than the hypercars are. But that being said, the hypercars are just going to accelerate out of the corner so much faster. The hypercar drivers just have to be patient. Just realize, yeah, I might be a little too close for corner entry. They're going to outbrake me a little bit, but I'm going to have it out of the corner. I'm going to have it down the straight. Just be patient, and you're going to have your opportunities, no problem.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried. Now, the other week, we saw George Angelidis literally last weekend, I think it was, in a VWC, it kind of explode, and he pound himself on an advertising board that was in the middle of the circuit. Now, I've just picked up that on board with Alec King, if we watch the term 3 to 5, there is actually a piece of advertising board right in the middle of the entrance to 5. Now, just should be, as I have seen, I'm sure my eyes did not deceive me. Oh, where's he gone? All right.
I think I saw it as well. So you're not seeing things. I hope that it might have already been cleared somehow. Maybe, unfortunately, somebody else. Ooh, that's a big snap oversteer there for Jason Whited, but able to collect it. No problems there. But I did see that. Yeah, he's coming off the racing lane there for sure, doing a little dipping a couple tires on the grass there. But yeah, I did see it for sure. I'm not sure where it went, but I'm not seeing it on the racing line, so hopefully that won't be an issue furthermore. But we'll have to keep an eye on that, because like you said, yeah, they definitely did have an issue with that last week.
Yeah, George literally exploded into a million pieces after hitting one, or embedding himself on it when it was on the side of the circuit. So we'll keep an eye out for that. I'm sure there was a white advertising board there somewhere. I'm pretty sure I weren't losing my marbles. But then again, I could well be losing my marbles. So we've got about 5 seconds left of practice before we go into what plans to be a very interesting race. And once the hypercars start lapping the GT3s, they'll be doing that for every single lap for the next 60 minutes. So something to look forward to there, Mike. All of the hypercars go past GT3s pretty much every lap after they start lapping, probably round about lap 4, well, 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be too far into the race that they catch up to the rear of the GT3 field. But I think that once we get a couple of those situations locked down, the GT3, we're obviously going to have field spread, so the GT3 field is going to spread a little bit. We have our GT3 Pros and our AMs. Obviously, you know, there is a little bit of a difference there between the drivers. There's a reason that we have the Pro class. So we are going to see that field spread happen, not unlike you see in Formula One or any other really type of racing. So I think that's going to make the second, third, fourth time that the hypercars come through just that much easier. But the first time is always going to be nerve-wracking for everybody. So we take a look at these 18-wheelers just sitting here waiting for Daniel Kirby to take us through this field. Daniel Kirby, a name that I have come to learn quite a lot about. Dude is just fast.
He definitely is.
There's no other way to say it. He's just always towards the front of the pack.
Absolutely. Well, here is the grid for this race. Dan Kirby alongside Alec King for row 1 and 2. Then Ben Kesby and Jerry Chen rounding out row 3 and 4. Moving on, it's going to be John Uyan in 5th place with Scar Pope in 6th. Then Brian Hall and Wayne Galvin round out 7 and 8. Then on reading and 9th is Norm Graff, then Gilles Lalonde rounding out row 5. Then row 6 is Jason Whitehead and Lanny Hall. So that's going to be an interesting road. Keep an eye on that one. Carl Struhl rounds out in 13th with Eduardo Benica taking the lead in the GT3 Pros in 14th. Then William Schlittling in 15th. They're in 16th. Then JT Chami in 17th. Chris Dunno in 18th. Then Don Fryman 19th. And Yuji Mizur in 20th. In 21st is Johnny Gutierrez and Alan Holden. Then Ryan Reyes and Alexander McQuarrie rounded out the 24th driver there. In 25th is James Walker, Micah Dowen in 26th, Micah Locke in 27th, and Eric Jacobs in 28th place. So that's row 14, mind you, we're on now. Then Matthew Overton and Cole McMillan with John Mayer and Oliver Day rounding out row 16. God, there's a lot of rows here today. Then you got Stephen Miller, Vinicius Goncalves, Sean Kelly and Tom Nisella. They're 33, 34, 35 and 36 respectively. Couple more to go after that. And it's James Bowders and Jerry Hamilton. Obviously, Jerry Hamilton was on no qualification for that one. We're going to keep an eye out for Vinicius Goncalves. He's got a drive-through from Watkins, and Alex King has got a stop-go. So that's going to disturb him right at the beginning, Michael, as well. Stop-go penalty, and he ain't even going to go anywhere.
Yeah, stop-go penalty, he's going to try to get that done as soon as possible, but that's just going to absolutely ruin his race, ruin his qualifying position, that's for sure. Up here in 2nd place, and he's the first time he comes in, he's going to have to make a trip, because as far as I'm aware, as far as I've always known, stop-and-go penalties, he's not allowed to do a pit stop with that. It's literally just come down pit lane, stop, hold for your penalty allotment, and then go. No work done, no tires, no fueling, no anything. So that's just a waste of at least 20-25 seconds. We'll have to see how long it really takes to get down pit road here at Road America. But I do know that Road America is not exactly the shortest pit lane, so it's definitely going to be a little frustrating for Alec King. He's going to lose quite a bit of positions, and it's just going to ruin his race.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree on that one. Poor old Alec King. We'll have to go in for a stop-go. Can he recover though? Because he will have obviously pit stops to deal with after that, so he might be able to make up and jump some time in the pits as well. I wonder if he can take it now. Could he go in now at the end of the pace lap? Technically the race would have started. Just saying.
I agree. Maybe just knock it out the first lap, just get it done. I'm not sure what the ruling body would feel for that, but I mean, maybe do a lap and then come in, get it over with. I think if I'm Alec King, if I'm looking at 60 minutes, I'm trying to get that done as quickly as possible. That way it doesn't affect my race later on. But I mean, there's a reason I'm in the booth, not in the car. So
yeah, no, but I agree with you. I think if he has the option to take it after lap 1, definitely get it done for lap 1. You know, if there's anything in the rule book, I'm sure that states that they can't take it under a pace lap, you know, or a formation lap. Don't know. But
yeah,
he's going to want to come in and get it out the way before he gets stuck on them GT3s. But ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your hats. Road America is going to be underway very, very shortly. We've got Dan Kirby taking the lead as he comes up the hill there. You see the GT3s led by Eduardo Benica behind him. But Dan Kirby, ladies and gentlemen, we are up and running. The green flag is going to be waving. He's holding him as long as he's physically allowed to. Now we're underway. Now we're green here all the way through, and now it's Dan Kirby leading the way down into turn 1 with Alec King sitting in second place. Ben Kesby comes in third. Then in the GT3s behind, Eduardo Benitez going to get the jump going down into turn 1. Not a massive gap between the GT3s and the Hypercars. Gotta be honest, I thought he might have left a little bit more, but he is going to be out in front with Benitez. Job done for him, but it's going to be Dan Kirby leading the way for the first time around in the Hypercar Pros.
Yeah, we got our answer here in the YouTube chat. Paul Ibiston and Bill Hunter both chiming in, both saying you have to at least take one lap. You can't take it on the pace lap, so appreciate that, YouTube chat. We got away very cleanly here. Everybody seems to be going very steadily. We'll have to see what Alec King's decision is going to be. Obviously, he stayed out. He did not illegally take that stop and go penalty on the pace lap, so we'll have to see what his decision is, but I just don't see staying out too long. But that being said, yeah, what a great clean start we have so far, and everybody just off to the races. Nice to see Benica just kind of leading the field there, but my question is, did Daniel Kirby need to hold them that long off the start? Like, he waited to the very, very, very last second. I mean, I know the draft is very strong along that main straight, but I mean, was that necessarily needed? I understand as a strategy, but I'm not sure I understand the strategy.
I think it's dependent on whether or not he would have wanted to go. I suppose the longer you hold them, the less chance they've got of getting up to speed and getting you by the time you go into turn 1, right? Let's be real about it. As you say, it's a long run from the start-finish line down into turn 1, so I suppose the longer he holds him, the more he feels that obviously he'll be able to get away and maintain that first place. I think that's what he's mainly looking at here. You know, so for Dan Kirby, I can understand the point on that one. We've got Scar Pope currently having a little bit of a ding-dong, trying to chase down Joey Chen for the Hypercar AM lead, so that we're going to keep an eye on these guys as well as they continue to fight it out. Scar in that yellow and black, Jerry Chen in front in the red honeycomb with the silver rear end, and of course we've got Eduardo Benica leading the GT3s as, whoa, go back. Where are you? There you are. Scar Pope, Jerry Chen running side by side into turn 5. Is Scar going to get around the outside? Jerry left him a lot of room there, Michael. Job done for Scar Pope.
Yeah, Scar Pope definitely going as wide as he possibly can. Possibly a little bit of a track limit there, but it doesn't really matter because he gets the job done. Scar Pope up into first with the AMs. Jerry Chen holding on to second place, but not really let him get too far away. That was a good fight, good battle there for first place overall, but you look at the rear end of Scar Pope just hanging on for dear life on some of these corner exits, so wonder if he's going to be able to settle that down, or maybe he's just got a little bit too much of a loose car. But that hypercar is definitely a challenge to drive to begin with, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Oh, car going very wide there. That was Hall in the background, losing a little bit of time, able to keep it out of the wall, but fairly way all into the dirt and the grass there, almost trying to rally race that hypercar around.
It is, yes, Paul, you are right. It says the rules for the race: drive a pit limiter speed until you hit the start-finish line and then accelerate. Applies to all the cars. It does, especially the leaders. The GT3s had to be 5 seconds back away from the hypercars. So yes, Paul, you were correct for us up here in the booth. Now, I think one of the interesting things we've got to be looking out for is the fact that we do have Brian Hall. He is a pro driver and currently sat behind the two leaders at the AMs. Now, obviously, as we know, with AM and pros, there's some things where the AMs are quicker and the pros are quicker. Has Brian Hall now got a decision to make? Does he sit back and go, well, I might as well follow them, they're quite quick? Or does he try and get through and cause himself some drama? Me personally, I'd probably sit there and hold on as they're coming down into turn 5 at the moment.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but Brian Hall is just going to start losing touch with John Uyen up there in fourth place overall, and fourth place in the Hypercar Pros. So, yeah, while Brian is definitely taking his time with this situation, he's going to start losing some massive time overall to the pros. I mean, if you look at that, Scar Pope is, what, 6 seconds away from John Uyen already? And then you just got to look at the fact that Brian Hall is behind another car behind that. So I see what you're saying with just being patient, but right now he is 5th overall in Hypercar, but 7th overall in the race, and just losing touch with the rest of his field.
Yeah, this is the GT3 battle going on. This is Alan Holden and Ryan Reyes. Alan there in the Ferrari 296, Ryan Reyes in the BMW M4 GT3. These guys continue to fight it out for the lead in the GT3 AMS. So fair play to these guys, having a right little ding-dong in behind him. And then you've got James Walker and Michael Locke behind that. So again, all the drivers down from about 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th are all not very far apart, so they're going to continue having one little epic ding-dong after another. Alec King is in the pit lane as expected here, so he's got to go and take his stop and go, so he's in the pits currently at the moment. But you can see how close the GT3s are compared to the hypercars, as some of the hypercars are quite spread out away from each other.
Yeah, that hypercar field is really starting to spread itself quite a bit. You look at the difference between Brian Hall, obviously we've already gone there. Oh, there's a big deal, big send there, as we got a third car involved in this one. McQuarrie is trying to get involved in the race for first place here for the LMGT3 AMS.
Yeah, great little battle from all of these guys. They're all mixed in and around each other, as they're all trying to take their positions away. But at the moment it's Ryan Reyes in 23rd, then Alan Holden, James Walker, Michael Locke and Eric Jacobs behind that one. These guys, Eric in the bright cyan liveried machine, but Ryan Reyes, Alan Holden side by side into turn one. Reyes holds on. Holden then does not let Walker get through either, who's got Michael Locke tucked up right behind him. That's a battle in the GT3 Pros, of course. The next three cars are GT3 Pros, and then you got Alexander McQuarrie in the back of his Corvette C8 GT3R, and that's Matt Overton behind him there as well. Matt in the Aston Martin Vige, struggling a little bit as well. Michael, he told us beforehand, hasn't really got the pace to keep up with the guys in front of him. He can barely get below 217s, 207, sorry, and obviously Eduardo Benica in qualifying was on a 203, and as you can see, Michael Locke and Jacob side by side under the Corvette bridge. Round turn 6, is Micah going to lose that position? It looks like he is, and job done for Eric Jacobs. Goes for Michael Locke.
Yeah, that was definitely a great move, done and dusted there. I know you were talking about that. Yeah, Matthew was definitely having a little bit of an issue. He said he couldn't get under the 207s. Well, we obviously saw how quick that Aston Martin could be with Eduardo Benica and Willem Schlichting, both in the 203s earlier, but it seems like he's holding on to his own so far, not falling too far off. He's well within range of this battle going on right here, so maybe he's just one of those things where he's got to settle down, but everybody seems to be going quite wide there in the kink. Every time we catch a screenshot of it, you got more dirt thrown up in the air than I've seen at any other track so far. So this is definitely going to be a very interesting race. These cars need to settle down just a little bit. Yes, it is a 60-minute race, so you can't be too patient, but you got to be careful with these track limit.
Yeah,
you're gonna start getting some issues with that here coming up pretty shortly. So you got to be careful there, and obviously, I mean, you lose traction going that far with these cars. They're very powerful. You're running the risk of, you know, dipping a wheel, could spin it, could tap somebody else. As we see Eric Jacobs really trying to make the move, and he's going to get the move done all the way down the straight. Eric Jacobs up into 10th place here. That is on Micah Locke. And that is a job done for that Mercedes.
Yep. Right, I want to have a look at some replays here, because Lanny Hall has DNF'd, and I've got a funny feeling it could be because of this. Okay. So this him come down into turn 1. He's bottoming him in out. Goes on to the... Oh, well, he disconnected there. So Lanny Hall disconnected. This is Jason Whitehead, who had an issue there. He goes off the side of the circuit. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Carl Strawhall also follows him off. So, yeah, but unfortunately both of these guys taking a trip. Whoa, Carl there just missing the car in front. Jerry Hamilton is another one that's been off the side of the circuit going into turn 5. Just goes in way too hot. And Tom Nacella has just been off in his Mustang at the same corner, funny enough, down into turn 5. So, yeah, lots of things going on for these guys already.
Yeah, it looks like they've been all been lucky to keep it out of the barriers. They've all found the sand trap.
Tom.
Yeah, right there. Tom's really having some issues there through that second sector, but coming through the carousel now, it looks like he's got it back under control. He's got a hypercar coming through, and this is where things are going to start getting very dicey. These hypercars are starting to come through the GT3 field, and it's going to be very, very tough for them the first couple times around. I think once we get a little bit more field spread, and saying it's not going to be that much of an issue, but right now these GT3 cars are a little bit too tight together to make it that much easier. As we see Daniel Kirby coming through, this gives us a great shot of the speed difference between the hypercar and the GT3. Just look at him absolutely flying by these cars.
What is he going to do there, though?
He's going to have to back off.
Yeah, because I believe that was Michael Lott going through.
That Corvette got awfully wide there.
No, that's Alan Holden. He's going to be passed. Eric Jacobs is next on the list. How many is he going to get down the marine sweep? Goes to the left. There you go. There goes Eric. So we've got James Walker and Ryan Reyes. They're up the road going, they're already into 5. Up the hill into 6. This is Dan Kirby making his way through. We're currently looking at 21st and 20th place in front of us. Steady.
This is where you see Daniel Kirby just showing the patience that he needs to show. He's got the speed to throw a dive bomb down, but he chooses not to. We love seeing that because he knows he's going to have the exit speed. He's going to have the straight line speed. There's no need to risk a dive bomb this early in the race when you know you have the pace to absolutely dominate. He's already about 6 seconds up on Kesby, so no real reason for him to throw his race away over lap traffic.
Yeah, and I want to pick up, I will pick up on that point, Bill, as well. You've said in YouTube there, 60-minute race can't be too patient. You are right, but you have to put in perspective how long 60 minutes is. You know, it's like, you know, half a film or 2 episodes of your favorite TV show that are half an hour long. You know, there's a lot of time. 60 minutes is still a lot of time, and I think, you know, some of these people could probably learn from obviously what was going on in motorsport. There was a lot, 3 wide, get down there, son, breathe it in. He did do. So yes, Bill, I get 60 minutes, you can't be that patient, but it, you know, you'd still be patient enough that you can obviously be a little bit more sensible. Do you know what I mean? And behind that is JT Tammy in that Ford Mustang there, and I think it is Chris Durham in front, as they've been having a nice little battle with Don Fryman bringing up behind them as well. So the GT3 pros for 3rd, 4th and 5th here on the run down into turn 5. JT Tammy in the Mustang on the left, and Durham in the Aston Martin in front, and JT Tammy putting them all under pressure. And now, oh no, don't do that into 6. They're already turning. Oh, they're already turning.
Yeah, the hypercar definitely put a nose where he shouldn't have been, but luckily,
it's pushed him off.
That's going to be the wall. That's going to be done and dusted there for JT Tammy.
That wasn't Alec King, and it weren't John Yu. Was that Ben? It might have been Ben Kesby. Let's have a look back. I think it was.
Getting a little bit too impatient, yeah. That's Ben Kesby right there, just getting too impatient, not waiting for the right opportunity. The GT3 cars were battling it out. Ben Kesby, you know, looking forward at the fact that he's in 2nd place trying to catch Daniel.
Matty Overton! Matty Overton missed everything. He's just flipped Brian Hall upside down. Here we go. Oh,
that's unbelievable. He completely just misses his braking zone and just throws it right into the back there.
By an absolute country mile. I think he might have. Oh, Jason White goes up as well on the final turn there, turn 14. But Matt just comes in like an absolute torpedo. Bang!
Got an onboard with that? I kind of want to see an onboard with that. Where's his brake marker? Where is he braking? Oh, he just absolutely missed it. He was just still going almost full throttle, or I mean, I don't know about full throttle, but Bill Hunter thinks he had a brake failure. I mean, that didn't look like he had too much brake control there, so that might be an option as we see Wayne Calvin come. That's Joe Lawn coming through.
I think he had a complete brain fart on that one. As one of our co-commentators would say, that's a zero IQ driving moment for Matt Overton there, unfortunately. But Matty Overton is out now. Lanny Hall is out as well. Let's see if I can get him in. I've got to see if I think he's even just
just putting a nose where he doesn't need to put it, able to get the move done, but found the inside grass and inside curbing there. Definitely a scary moment for the BMW right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a
little bit more patient here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and find out what happened to Matty Overton. And see if
get Matty Overton in here.
Yeah, and find out if he'd come and tell us what went on. It's all kind of settled down around parts of it. As you see, Lanny Hall is into the pit still. But you've got Dan Kirby out in front by 10.6 seconds. Then you've got Scar Pope out in front by nearly 2 seconds. Eduardo Benico and Max Sunfram have not really left each other alone. They're a second apart at the moment in the LM GT3s. In the GT3 ARMS, it's Reyes and Holden. Reyes is out in front by 3 seconds. So you can see there's quite a big spread of classes here. You know, they're all very spread out. Johnny Gutierrez is maybe one of the closest drivers. He's in the Merc. He's chasing down Eugene Missouri in front of him in the Aston Martin. And so you see there on your screen, Johnny Gutierrez looks like he's pulled to the left-hand side. Is he going to get the job done? He's not. He thought better of it there, Michael, and tucked him back behind him.
Yeah, it looked like he had a great run going down there. We've seen him make a move already once down the main straight. He's going to be on the inside here. He's going to get the job done here.
Too far.
And, oh, that's a little bit of over-under there. And Gutierrez is definitely going to be in trouble. We'll have to see if, yeah, like you said, he went a little bit too deep in there. And, yeah, he's going to lose that place as we see a hypercar coming through. So this is going to be a little dicey here in a moment. 2 wide is going to be 3 wide. The hypercar doesn't really have an opportunity here. Gonna have to be patient.
Yeah,
gonna have to be patient there. But that's putting him under pressure from the hypercar behind there. Who do we got battling there in those 2 hypercars?
That's Brian. I believe that is Brian Hall, who's just come out the pit lane, and I believe behind that is actually Scott Pope. It's not Scott Pope.
So that's not going to be a.
Where is?
It's not going to be a battle for position then.
No, but I've lost somebody. Who have I lost here? There's Brian Hall. And there's the yellow and black. I thought it was Scar Pope behind us, but it might not actually be. It's not Jason Whitehead. He's having an absolute rotter of a race. I can't see who that is. That is really going to annoy me. Who is that hypercar in front of him?
Trying to look myself. That's a Cadillac, so that gives us a little bit of information. Cadillac, that could be Cole Stroll. I think that's Carl Stroll.
No.
No.
No. Deary me. What? Oh, there he is. Norm Graff. Norm Graff.
Hey, sorry, Norm.
Norm Graff in there. It was what coming, but he's putting a lap on Brian Hall as well, mind you. So Brian Hall is a lap down currently at the moment. On that one, we've lost another DNF. Tom Nacella has just gone out.
Norm Graff putting himself up into 3rd place overall with the Hyper AMS.
Oh, Tom, tyres.
No.
Yep. And that is why Tom Nacella is out.
That is kind of smart.
Yeah, that's definitely going to do it. Jerry Chen has now got Alec King behind. Obviously, Alec had to go in for his stop and go at the moment. Yeah, it was Norm. Thank you, Paul, on that one. So Jerry Chen is going to have a nice little bit of a ding-dong battle going on, I believe, with Scar Pope in front. And I believe that is Alec King behind him, the recovering Alec King, of course, after going in for his stop-go penalty, sitting in 6th overall.
Yeah, we know Alec King is definitely extremely fast, but this is going to be a tough battle here between Scar Pope and Chen. So he's going to have to kind of pick his spot here. This is a little bit different than what we've seen so far. So far, we've seen some battles with the GT3s with hypercars coming through. This is a battle for first overall, and the hypercar AMs with the second overall qualifying throw. Looks like Scar Pope had an off there. Well, we might have to get a replay there. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Did Scar Pope get pushed off?
No, nothing's flagged up and said.
They're all coming into the pits.
So they've all dived in to the pit lane there. All three of them together. Ben Kesby's also in. Dan Kirby is not in at the moment, and neither are some of the others. Non-Graf there. If he's going to go in, I expect him to go in now. He has done. What about Wayne Galvin? Oh, Galvin's quite a long way back from that. We expect him to go into the pit lane. So the hypercars, they're first of their 2 stops. The kink looks like is causing a lot of problems for some as dirt comes off flying there for them. So they've got to be a little bit sensible, and I believe that is Gilles Lalonde just got through at the same time. So traffic becoming slightly more of a bit of an issue for some of these guys, even though they could possibly be heading into the pit lane.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting part of the race where they all come in for their pits. We know the GT3 cars, as long as they're saving enough fuel at some point, they're only going to have to make one stop. But these hypercars, they burn through the fuel a lot quicker. They're going to have to make second stops. It's going to be very tight for them as we see Gilles Lalonde just keeping it out there. Norm Graf behind him, I believe, has been in for his stop. So, yeah, last time I saw Norm Graf was up in the 3rd. So, yeah, he came in with Jerry Chen and Pope, I believe.
Yeah, he's sitting in the pit lane at the moment. It's Norm Graf. So, yeah, Norm's in the pit lane. They've all been into the pits now. Job done. Kirby's now in as well. Kirby went a lap longer. Who's he got? Ben Kesby. Where is... Oh, Kesby's quite far around the circuit at the moment. That's the kink on the run down into Canada corner. Kirby should get out. No,
it's his pit spot.
No, he hasn't. It's not picking him up. He's there, I don't think. We've had this before where it doesn't pick up that you're registered for your pit box. Kesby's on his way around in 13B and 13A. Kirby's still there. There he goes now. So he has picked him up. Kesby's on his way down. That was, I believe, that was
that off.
It looked like Jerry Hamilton off the side. But there's Dan Kirby. There's Ben Kesby. It's going to be job done for Dan Kirby. Still retakes the lead. Johnny Yan is going to be in 3rd, but Ben Kesby grabs 4th. Jerry Chen still leading the hypercar AMS. He's got Scar Pope behind him and Alec King in the middle, and Eduardo Benica is still leading the GT3s from Max Humphrey lap, who was 1.5 seconds back, and Holden and Reyes are back together again. Reyes this time behind Holden. So these big guys been having a great little battles with Mika Locklear, who was obviously a GT3 pro. And
yeah, this has been
we can bring in, sorry Michael to interrupt you there, I've just noticed we've got one Mr. Matthew Overton has jumped into the box with us. Matt, can you hear us?
Yes I can.
Okay.
And
we've had
not where expected to be.
We've had Paul,
do you want to hear us?
Yeah, we've had Paul Libertson already said he thinks you had a brake failure.
Absolutely. I must have been riding the brakes or something, because twice in a row I checked the brake temperature and it was like at incredibly high levels. I had no brakes, badly misjudged things, and as a result Brian Hall paid the price, and so did I think it was Mika Locke that I took in the side earlier on. So I've already done the walk of shame down the pit boxes to have a talk with their crews, and the stewards already told me they want to talk to me. So yeah, not a great race, and certainly not where I expected to be at this point.
Are we expecting a Matthew Overton penalty for the next round, dear sir?
Oh, yeah, undoubtedly. There's nothing that the other two drivers are responsible for at all. Just cooked the brakes and couldn't stop. So, yeah, absolutely my fault, and I've owned it with the guys. And I can only hope that their races aren't too terribly impacted. Obviously, they have been impacted, but
we saw Brian
they
Hall,
are
I
able
think,
to recover.
upside down.
Yeah, Brian Horn on the other side.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw him looping around, so I hope he got back in and is able to race again.
Well, he's currently sitting in 9th overall for 5th in class, so I suppose on the hindsight he is back up and running. Obviously, Scott Pope, as we can see on our screen, Michael Lock on our screen at the moment, he's down in 24th place. He's just cleared Alan Holden, put himself between Alan and Ryan and Reyes there for the GT3 AMS. How tough was it out there, Matt? Because, all right, you didn't exactly last ages, right? But what was it like? I presume you did see the first come round of the Hypercars, right?
Yeah, I saw them come through. They were pretty disciplined, actually. They did wait. They picked their opportunities. I was really quite proud of the way they handled themselves when they came through the back end of the GT field, and I'm sure that they were going to do the same further up as well. So well done to them.
Awesome stuff. Well, Matt, thank you for coming in and owning what could only be probably one of the incidents of the race there. We'll have to see how your penalty goes from VIR and what do you end up
that'll
with.
be fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any predictions on your penalty incoming? What do you reckon? No qualification or a stop and hold?
I expect I'll have a double DT, so I'll be sitting in the pit lane for quite a while before I'm allowed back out again.
Oh, Matt, you naughty boy, you.
Yeah, I'm afraid that I have not been adjusting well to the BOP changes that have happened over the season. I've been struggling with that. Got some advice. It's just not working for me. So. Yeah, I'm going to have to do some thinking about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it.
All right, Matt. Well, thanks so much for joining us there, buddy, and see what happens for VIR.
All right, thanks very much. Take care, guys.
And
enjoy the rest of the race.
Thanks, bud. Well, I think he owned it. That's fair. That's as much as we can ask for Matt Overton there. I'm not quite sure how he couldn't own it, to be honest. We've lost Norm Graff. He just DNF'd. He went off the side of the circuit and then has not come back out for Norm. He's already facing the wrong way there. How did you end up there, though, Norm? That's going to be the question. Nope, you've still gone round again. Let's see if I can just find where...
I was just playing with that Chevy board right there.
Yeah, it keeps flicking back, unfortunately. It's quite annoying trying to find what actually happened to Norm Graff, and I think we might end up having to miss that out here.
Daniel Kirby come through. This is going to be... Okay, he's able to get out of the way. I believe, yeah, he's able to get out of the way. That was a very, very, very tight moment for our leader overall.
Yeah, I think Norm blew an engine there. He had smoke coming out the back of that car, so I think for Norm Graff it was all done and dusted. JT Tammy in the pit lane, Max Sumfenlap also in the pit lane, so the GT3 is coming through for their one and only stop. We've lost Norm Graff, Tom Lasella, Matthew Overton and Lanny Hall. As we saw, well, what happened to Matt, he declared he had no brakes, but I suppose, you know, you can always fall back on that one when you don't want to turn around and say, look, I completely missed up. I went and chuffed my braking point and I smacked him and sent him round.
Yeah, it did sound like he was a bit of a dog with his tail behind his legs. He definitely owned up to everything, but as he said, you know, the BOP is definitely, Hypercar going quite wide there, and GT3 car making up for it.
Jason
but as he did say, it was, yeah, Jason, well, we've seen Jason Whitehead go off quite a few times tonight, so Jason, another Hypercar and another driver that's not exactly having the best race of his career here, but yeah, kind of, he said the BOP was really kind of messing with him. I'm not sure how much the BOP really affects the brakes, but I guess, I mean, obviously they take everything into account. These guys, you know, this mod that they have here, the Storm Gang just does an amazing job with, so they really do take everything into account. So I mean, that makes sense, but it sounds like he, you know, obviously he already owned up to it, but it was a little bit of a, you know, square peg round hole kind of deal. Just went in too deep, didn't have the grip, didn't have or had too much heat in the brakes, and just wasn't able to keep it under control. And unfortunately for him and a few other drivers, that's going to be the end of their race. So we see quite a few more GT3 cars coming into the pits.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much most of the GT3 pros, even Eugene Missouri, I think, has actually gone round again. So Eugene takes the lead in the GT3 pros. For how long? Not entirely sure on that one. The GT3 AMs are in as well. Reyes and Holden have just got into the pit lane, so that will see if Stephen Miller comes in. I'm expecting pretty much most of these guys to come in, cover each other off. Miller's in, Jason Whitehead's in again. Unfortunately, as we said, he's had a bit of a rotten evening of racing, but not for Eugene Missouri. Around turn 5 up the hill for turn 6 there under the Corvette bridge left. And Eugene Missouri running well in that Aston Martin, Michael, at the moment, doing a great job as he approaches turn 7.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to see Eugene coming in, though. We saw the information that we had at the beginning of the race that these GT3s, they could go about 30 to 35 minutes. They're coming up on that 35-minute marker here, and we see our race leader for the GT3 pros, Beninka, has made his pit stop. He's back into 5th place, so we got to see this field kind of cycle through the rest of these pit stops. So I believe Eugene's probably coming in this lap, if not this lap, the next lap. But yeah, he's running very well, very smoothly up front there. But once we get these pits cycled through, I think we're gonna obviously see Eduardo back on top there. But I think this is gonna work out for Eugene Missouri later on in the race. This is definitely gonna eke out a little bit. Obviously, he's running on a lighter fuel load right now, so he's able to go just that little bit faster. So, you know, just eking out as long of a strategy as he can. But I believe we're gonna be seeing him come in this lap for sure.
Yeah, I would have thought so on that one. Last BOP, the Vantage gained 40 kilos in weight.
Okay, so there you go, 40 kilos in weight. That's going to throw your braking point off quite a bit. You know, it's going to heat your brakes up. But we've seen the Aston Martin has been extremely overpowered. It's absolutely been dominant this season. So I mean, they had to do something, and the 40 kilograms, that's, like I said, that's clearly going to add, you know, distance to your braking. And if you're used to braking at the 150 board, you know, now you got to add at least another 25 meters to it. And you know, in your head, you're already like locked into that, so it's so easy to overheat your brakes. I mean, you're hitting your same braking point that you've been practicing, and now you add that 40 kilos in. Now you got to adjust that braking mark, and it's just, you know, that challenge of understanding that. And you know, unfortunately for Matthew Overton, you know, it was just overheating his brakes, and he lost his brakes.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that one. I think when you start putting weight in a car, you've got to realize that you're getting pushed a lot harder when you're hitting the brakes, so you do need to extend it out just a little bit on that one. Just keeping eyes on the GT3 hands. Holden still out in front at the moment. We're doing a Reyes 21 seconds back, so I believe Reyes has had a proper rough pit stop to lose that amount of time to Alan Holden as well.
Yeah, they were right next to each other, that BMW and that Ferrari, and going back and forth in the GT3 AMs all race along so far.
Yeah, it must be well rough of a pit stop. So I'm just trying to find the pit lane time there. And yeah, for Ryan Reyes, he must have had some form of issue or penalty in the pit lane or something along them lines, because he is a long way back from Alan Holden in front at this moment in time. Oh, he's well 21 seconds back, so ouch for Ryan Reyes. And then we've got Ben Kesby, who is about 8 seconds back, trying to close down on Dan Kirby. Not the most easiest thing to do when you've got the man like Dan Kirby, who is in the Porsche 963 and absolutely flying, I think would be the word that you could say about this young man.
Yeah, well, we've been seeing it all season long. Daniel Kirby just knows how to maneuver and knows how to put his hypercar. And I believe he's actually new to this Porsche. I think
last week or last time
yeah,
out.
I think. Yeah, so and I happened to actually be here for that. And yeah, no, this is a new car for him. So just absolutely coming to terms with it extremely quickly. Able to just understand it, put it where he wants it to go, and just, you know, obviously we wanted to see Alec King out there, but Alec King had that penalty that he had to serve, and he did serve, and he served it quite early like we were predicting, but this has put Alec King 50 seconds behind in. You know, it's kind of absolutely ruined his race for sure, but it's kind of ruined our opportunity to see the two of them going back and forth with all this GT3 traffic. But that being said, Daniel Kirby is out front for a reason, and he is just smoking the field just like he's done multiple times this year.
Yeah, he is, and I think he's just doing such an impressive job. He's, I don't know, I think the terminology of an alien doesn't even match what Kirby's doing. You know, he's leading the Hypercar Pros by 11 points at the moment over Alec King. He's obviously looking to extend it again. So for him, he's had a bit of a, you know, with Alex stop-go, he's had a bit of an easy, I'm not going to say easy run, it's never easy, but you get the rough idea. It's like going on a Sunday drive at the moment, 8.5 seconds up the road. However, William Schickling and Max Sumphenlap are having a nice little bit of a ding-dong as Schlickling gets it all a little bit wrong through turn 12, gets that sideways in that Aston Martin. He's got that Corvette C8 up behind him. Now, I don't know if you've driven the new Corvette, Michael, at all.
Not in R Factor.
In somewhere else?
Yeah, well, in iRacing, I have driven the new Corvette and the new Mustang, both in iRacing. I do like the Corvette, but my driving style just kind of leans further towards the mid to rear engine vehicles. Obviously, like, you know, I love driving the Porsche, so the 911. So yeah, I was able to really come to terms with the Corvette a lot faster than I was with the Mustang. I felt like it drove very nicely. The sound, you know, that Mustang V8 just sounds so American muscle, like just where the Corvette sounds good, don't get me wrong, but just not quite as good in my opinion. But it is very comfortable to drive. I felt like it corners very well. It just kind of does what you want it to do, as we see that Mac getting a little bit loose there. I would say I don't have a ton of time on it because I am so obsessed with the 911, but I have taken it around the track a couple times.
That's the car I've moved over. I've jumped in the Corvette. I was, as I say, the Mustang, the Mercedes was my main car.
Yeah, and I was surprised. I thought for sure that the Mustang was going to be your move.
No, it was too, it reminds me of just a house brick on wheels that don't want to rotate. It's like that. Yeah. It's like when you go to when we go to a supermarket and you've got all the shopping trolleys lined up, and you know the one you pick is going to be the one with the wobbly wheel, right? And that's how it always works. Yeah, and that's what the Mustang reminds me of. Just a trolley that's not going to do what I want it to do. Where the Corvette, I can get in it, I can grab the bull by the horns, and I can chuck it in and get it rotated, and I can brake it a little bit late if I need to, and I know it's going to stop for me. And yeah, it's very, very comfortable under braking. I do notice that, but I think that has a lot to do with the engine placement. I've always just felt a little more comfortable with being able to brake later when it comes to, you know, the engine placement, where it's a little further back, either mid-engine or, you know, like a Porsche rear engine. But yeah, I feel like it's very comfortable. You're able to kind of go towards the limit of grip pretty quickly, but
as we say that, look how much that Aston Martin is just pulling away from him down the straight. Like, he's able to pick it back up when we come back into the tight twisties, but just watch right here. This Aston Martin is just going to say, okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
Right there. He's just gone.
There's nothing worse.
That's with the 40 kilograms of weight added.
And the draft. How bad is that? The fact that the vet is sat in the draft and he still can't get nowhere near that Mustang. Poor Corvette, man. I can tell you that much. It makes you wonder why we haven't got more Mustangs at the front. Benika's in a Mustang, isn't he?
That's the Aston.
Yeah,
that's the Aston.
Oh yeah, Aston Martin, sorry, up the front as well. Benika's there. And then William Schittling is also in an Aston Martin. So yeah, he's absolutely flying. And Mac, who we got? Chris Durham, funny enough, in an Aston Martin. And then Don Fryman behind. He's in a Corvette as well. So I think I would take the Corvette, to be fair.
Yeah, well, you say that, but watching it get smoked down the straight like that, I think... I mean, I would love to see Storm Gangs and Test Drive Store Games 911. I don't think I've ever really seen too many 911s in the NARS League or the VWSC, but I mean, I absolutely love the 911. I can talk to you about it for days and days and days. I'm not fast, don't get me wrong. There's a reason I'm in the booth, but I just love the way it feels. So I would love to see in Test Drive Storm Gangs iteration of the 911. But as we see up and down the field, the Aston Martin Corvette battle is just everywhere we look right now.
Yeah, but I'm not quite sure what Mac's got to do here. He almost needs to throw like a cow hook out the window and grab the wing of the Aston Martin, doesn't he? Because look, can't even stay with him in a draft. If he can't stay with him in a draft, how's he going to get round him? He's just got no pace, and with the runs out of 3 down into 5, he's going to lose out there as well, you know. And Williams just putting that Aston Martin where it needs to be, and there's nothing the vet can do. It's just adios, see you later, take care, thanks for coming, and off it goes, you know. And that's the thing, isn't it? For Mac, he's just got to kind of sit back and go, okay, what do I need to do here? Can I speed up a section anymore, or do I need to take more chances? Because clearly the vet's not got the top end of that Aston Martin at all. Literally none at all.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm surprised Mac's been able to keep it under control, because, you know, when you see that car in front of you just pulling away from him on the straights, you start to tend to overdraft the car in the corners, and that just ruins your race even more. So... See, he's able to hold on to it there. He had plenty of grip, but it looked like he was starting to overdrive the car a little bit. That's not where you want to be as a driver. You don't want to start. You want to keep that car on the edge of grip, but obviously well within your handling capabilities. And you just see that car in front of you just pulling away, and it's like a kick in the gut.
Yeah,
it's just not much to do.
No, the second round of pit stops for the Hypercars are starting now. Jerry Chen's in, Scar Pope's in, Alec King's in, Brian Hall's in. Ben Kesby's been in and he's on his way out again. I'm interested to see the Scar Pope, Jerry Chen situation in the pit lane. Scar's at the front of the pit lane. There. And there it is still. Jerry Chen in the pits. He gets going. Scar does not get going. Still in the pit lane, just about getting moving now. Wayne Galvin is going to be not too far off Scar Pope. So Scar Pope did not have a look like he had a good second stop there, unfortunately, with Scar Pope. But yeah, I think as we're going into the last 15 minutes now, this is the nitty gritty, right? This is the go for it ding dong. We know Kirby's out in front by a minute, but he's still got another pit stop to make. I hope so, otherwise, oh, he's just got a Sunday drive run, Michael, to the finishing line, hasn't he, at the moment? Jerry Chen's now just done himself an absolutely massive favour with his great second stop in the Hypercar AMS.
But there's an 11.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Is that? Oh. Who is that in the 911 now? That's Stephen Miller.
I think that's the only 911 that we have. Oh, we have two. James Bowders and John Mayer are both in the 911s.
Yeah.
We haven't really been able to talk about them.
But that's because they're towards the back in 31st and 32nd. With the new evolution,
that's probably where I would be.
Yeah, with the new evolution of cars that are coming out, you know, the Mustang, the Corvette, the Aston Martin's clearly showing pace here. Are the Porsches done? Is it almost a Porsche killer? Is that the situation we're looking at? Because we know the Porsche could be unpredictable. We know it can go round whenever it feels like it. You know, it's like a merry-go-round on a windy day. It can spin if the wind blows, and other than that, it might stay where it is depending on what the car situation is. It reminds me of Herbie. Do you ever remember the Herbie film with the VW Beetle that does what he wants? That's every time I handle a Porsche, it's like Herbie. It will do whatever it wants. And I just, has it been done? Is it done?
I can't disagree more. Honestly, I feel like the Porsche is very predictable. Hard to save.
Give over.
Hard to save, but very predictable.
That is the Porsche is about as predictable as me drunk on a Saturday night wearing high heels and a short skirt. I can tell you that much. I am not going to stay on my feet any longer. It is ridiculous. There's no way is the Porsche predictable.
This is I don't think a very strong track for the 911. That's for sure. Long straights, not too many tight, twisty places that the handling of the Porsche can really stand out. But yeah, no, I personally feel like the Porsche is very predictable. I feel like I know when I'm gonna lose the rear end. I feel like it warns you. Well, it doesn't warn you. It's gonna go. If it wants to go, it's gonna go. But like, you can kind of understand what makes it want to go. And I mean, maybe it's just driving style, but to me, it just feels predictable. Now, like I said, I'm not fast. I am not a fast driver by any means, but I do feel comfortable in the 911. Eugene Mazur loves the 911, but he switched to the Vantage. Well, obviously he switched to the Vantage because the Vantage is OP, and I don't blame him for that. Paul, I also want to point out, I think we were talking about Matthew here, Matthew Everton, you can adjust the bias too depending on where the weight is. Yeah, you can adjust the bias, brake bias obviously moving it forward or backwards, but I mean, there's only so much that you can do without affecting, you know, your braking distance or affecting the rotation. The 992 GT3 or the 991, I would assume that these are the 992s, aren't they, James?
The Porsches?
Yeah, they would be the 992s.
The 911 GT3 992s, yeah.
Yeah, so they are the 992, you were correct. So they are the 992s. Yeah, so right there, yeah, 992s. So yeah, they are the updated version of the Porsches, but I mean, like, first of all, let's just face this. This is not exactly a 911 track, you know. Long straightaways. You know, you don't really have any, you know, really tight, twisty bits. Like I said, as we see, Micah Dorn has taken over the lead of the GT3 AM class. Yeah, no, Bill, that's a great question, you know. And if it was the 991s, that would make a lot of sense. You know, for them to be a little bit behind, but no, with them being the 992s, maybe the BOP needs to be adjusted on them, but we only see 2 of them in the field today, so they're not exactly the most popular in this league. But that being said, I mean, how many BMWs do we have? And we have a BMW fighting for the lead in the AM class. I'm only seeing the one BMW. Yeah, so
Ryan Reyes.
Ooh, this is a ding-dong, like you said, James.
Yeah, Ryan Reyes and Dorn nearly making contact. I'm not surprised. Reyes come from a long way back, mind you. We've lost Alan Holden, and this is why we have lost Alan Holden.
That Ferrari just coming. Oh, and right in the front of that McLaren.
Oh, that was Oliver Day. You can't blame Day. Look at this. He's got nowhere to go, dude.
Oh, absolutely nothing that he could have done there. That Ferrari snapped to the right and just came to the left, and there was nothing he could do about it. Yeah, that's absolutely not, you know, Day's fault at all.
Off goes the Porsche.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just pointing out a Porsche has gone off. Doesn't.
I mean, there was quite a bit of understeer there. That was not an oversteer snap, so.
It didn't steer. Just said. Right, Wayne Galvin.
Which is not steer.
Wayne Galvin and Scar Pope are battling it out here. Dan Kirby's been into the pits and is back out. His lead's down to 15 seconds. So Dan Kirby's still doing a great job. Jerry Chen in the Hypercar AMS leading there. Panika in the GT3 Pros, as we've just watched somebody in the Hypercars there. That was Scar Pope. There he is. Sitting on the side of the circuit. So Paul Scar Pope, not a good idea. It was now dropped down behind Wayne Garvin and Jerry Chen in the Hypercar AMS. So Jerry looks like he's going to be wrapping this up. McAdoohan and Ryan Reyes still going at it. Reyes, yes, I think he is the only BMW, but clearly he loves the BMW. But I think for me, this is where I'm at with this. I think the Porsches come in fireworks and a blaze of glory, right? It entered like a Chinese New Year pie. Bang, 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 it's here, it's great, it's amazing. And then it's gone. It's like a flash in the pan. It's like a ideology that comes and goes. It just pops, you know what I mean? 1 minute it's there, and then it's gone. The BMW kind of just reminds me of a car that's always going to be there. You know, the general saying is the BMW is just a sturdy, user-friendly, ideal car, where the Porsche is a very rear-happy, unpredictable machine, as we're going to about watch Ryan Reyes try and take the lead there, not getting it done over Micah Doan at all. Unfortunately for him, he's going to have to wait, but I think that's the difference. The BMW could be seen as very user-friendly, very controllable. The Porsche can be, well, a hero to zero. You know, 1 minute it will drive amazing, next year it'll put you in a barrel.
And that's hilarious, because that's the exact opposite of the way I feel. Whenever I jump into the BMW on iRacing, I can't predict what that thing's gonna do at all. Oh, what a dive! And he's gonna outbrake him. No, he's gonna have it, but it's gonna. Micah definitely has a run here. This is definitely gonna be Micah's corner. Is he gonna back out?
Nope. He doesn't need to. No way.
No, he does not. Yeah.
I don't know where Reyes thought he was going to go there.
Yeah, he definitely came in way too hot there. It looked like he had an opportunity, but as soon as he got onto the brakes, he just knew that he was going to miss the apex. And that just brought Micah right back into the play. But honestly, like, anytime I drive the BMW, it's exactly the way that you're describing the Porsche for me. It just out of nowhere just snaps on me. I can't predict it. Yeah, the 50-50 weight distribution. I mean, I'm going to repeat myself multiple times here. I am not a great driver. I'm not fast. Don't get me wrong. But for whatever reason, when I drive the 911, it just feels comfortable. It feels predictable. When I get into the BMW, I lose it so easily, and I can't figure out what I did wrong. You know, that's like when I lose the 911, I can like go back and look at a replay, or just like, no, okay, I did this or I did that. Like, I know what I did. You know, I caused that snap. With the BMW, I just can't figure it out. So, I mean, it's probably just a driving thing, and the fact that I'm just, like I said, in the booth for a reason. But yeah, Bill Hunter, GTE RSR fan, not a GT3 ABS, not a fan. Okay, that's fair. I love driving the RSR. That's definitely a fun car to drive. And totally understandable too. Like, yeah, they are technically the same platform, but they're two different cars in my opinion, the way they drive. So, well, I mean, not necessarily the way they drive, but
you missed the apex.
Yeah, Micah's losing a little bit of time here, and he had to let that hypercar go through. So
I don't think he had much of a choice with Ryan Reyes either. Reyes did send it on him there to retake the lead. I think that was a very, very aggressive move, going down into Canada corner, and one that kind of basically ended up both of their races if it all went a little bit wrong. So they're going to have to just be a little bit careful. It's interesting when looking through the runners and riders. Benitez in an Aston Martin, Something Laps in a Vet. Oh, Alan Holden is in the middle of the circuit.
He's able to back out. James, did we miss an incident with Willem Schlichting? He's also in the chat here saying, what a shame my incident. I don't recall seeing Schlichting's incident.
Hold on. Is this the one? No, got to be before that.
There's
Oh,
another
there's a board.
Oh, yeah, there's a board
Board in
out
the
there. That's
middle.
what happened. Man, you were talking about it earlier.
He ran over it, look.
Yeah, somebody hit it on the lap before. Didn't affect the hypercar, but just took the front end off of that Aston Martin. He just had no control and just understeered straight into that wall there. And we'll see. Ooh, what's going on here?
Benica puts it in the middle of the road, and then William comes behind. So Benica puts it into the middle of the road. William comes behind, over the board he goes, can't get it stopped. Bang.
Yeah, that was just, that board just landed in the worst place it possibly could have. And yeah, he just had no grip on the rear or the front end and just slid right into the wall there, through the gravel trap and everything. So unfortunate there for Willem Schlichting. Sorry we missed that, Willem. That's definitely an unfortunate incident.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's still running, but he's down in 33rd place at the moment. Eduardo Benica's now back up in first. I'm going to say that Eduardo, did it on purpose. Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Micah Doohan's got
William was right
past.
behind him, so.
Yeah, Micah Doohan's got past Ryan Reyes again. These two having a right little ding-dong on the racer. There's another. There's still part of the board in the middle of the racer. Come on, stewards, do your job. What are you waiting for? Get out there, pick it up. I don't know. Hey, listen, they might go out. Who knows? But yeah, these two still continue to play. Probably the closest cars on the race circuit out of all of the cars, literally at the moment. These two battling it out.
Yeah, we've seen these two battling it out for quite a few laps now as they both get wide there coming out of the corner. Got a hypercar. I believe that's Dan Kirby coming through, our race leader, as we are under 2 minutes left. So we are going to be coming down to the final couple laps here momentarily. Dan Kirby is able to get through. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it will be the final lap. You're right. So this is going to be it. No, this is going to be it for Daniel Kirby this lap and one more. So this battle that we're watching here between these two cars, Micah Doohan and Ryan Reyes, this is going to be, Ryan had to back out of that one. He got very close to the rear end, and that's going to compromise his exit out of this turn and all the way down the straight as we see Dan Kirby taking the white flag coming around for the final lap.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying, isn't he? Dan Kirby, he's just so quick. He's on a different planet, a different level.
Just barely turning the wheel, just controlling that car completely with his pedals, just getting all the rotation without any of the looseness, just able to put that car anywhere he wants to put it. Absolute control, absolutely stunning drive. And I mean, anytime I see Daniel Kirby's name on the track, I expect to see him up front because he just has so much car control and so much confidence. Even in a car that, like you said, this is only his second race in the Porsche. Just absolutely stunning driver.
Just so smooth.
He's one of the test drivers for a reason.
Yeah,
he just has all the control.
So
now,
smooth, isn't he? Scary.
I will say it's unfortunate that Alec King had to serve that that stop and go penalty because we really lost out on a really tight battle between the two of them. Nothing against Kesby. Not saying that. Just Alec King, Dan Kirby. They were throwing down last week before Alec King had his incident. I really would have loved to see these two drivers kind of going at it tonight, but obviously that wasn't going to be in the cards, and Daniel Kirby is just absolutely running away with this race.
There he is. He's coming around the final corner now. Dan Kirby, turn 14. He's going to take the victory here. It's been Alan Holden's having a rotten one off the side of the circuit again. after a win last time out in Motorsport, unfortunately for Alan Holden, but it's all about Dan Kirby coming over the line. Victory for Mr. Kirby in the Hypercar Pros there. Jerry Chen's going to come over in the Hypercar AMS. He's going to take the win in Hypercar AMS. And then in the GT3 Pros, it's going to be Mr. Eduardo Bonica, who's going to take the victory there by about 34 seconds. Absolutely massive. But here comes Jerry Chen. He's going around the carousel now. He's going to wrap this one up. Where is Eduardo Bonica? Bonica's a little bit further down the road. It might or could, I suppose, come over the line together here, depending on how far back. Oh, Jerry's quite far back from... Oh, no, he's not, because Bonica's just going around the corner. So they could end up coming over the line together here. Eduardo Bonica, and there's Jerry Chen just in the background. But Bonica's going to come through. Reyes and Micah Doan have swapped places again. Micah's in the pits.
What happened there? Because Reyes is definitely putting some... Oh, yeah, he's in the pits, so...
Yeah,
Bonica. Some
Bonica.
sort of incident there.
Yeah, there's Bonica, there's Chen. GT3, Hypercar, and winners over the line together. Great job from them ones. And Susek, I'm sorry, I'm trying to see where, if there's been an incident for these guys. Just waiting for everybody else to come over the line. As I say, Reyes is going to wrap up the GT3 AMS. I'm surprised at that, so we'll try and have a look and see if there was any contact. What goes off there? Holden's off. I don't think there is. I can't see anything that may have had.
Well, I think Micah is going to still somehow secure second place. Was McMillan a lap down from these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So Micah is still going to end up in second place, so maybe he just went into the pits. I'm not really too sure what happened there, but yeah. Unless that was an extra lap by Ryan, maybe they had already come over the line. Because Ryan went straight into the pits there, so that must have been an extra lap for Ryan. He must have just gone around one more time. So that's where our confusion is. He just decided to take an extra victory lap there. He did win the race, so yeah, Ryan Reyes first place in the AMS, and then Micah Duran second. We see Cole McMillan and Steven Miller.
It's just weird how he ended up in front of him.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly what's going on here.
I don't know how Reyes got in front of him. We'll have a look. But there we go. Right. Okay. Michael, if you want to have a go at reading the final results for the race.
Of course.
There you go. They're on your screen.
Here we go. Daniel Kirby, as expected, out front. Ben Kesby in second place. John Ewan taking third overall. Alec King, Jerry Chen, Wayne Galvin, Scar Pope, Joe Lalonde, Brian Hall, and Carl Strawhall rounding out your top 10.
Yeah.
Go ahead and move on to our next group here momentarily. We got Jerry Hamilton, Jason Whitted, Eduardo Bonica, your GT3 overall leader, Chris Durham, Dan Fryman, JT Tammy, Eugene Mazur, Max Southernlup, James Walker, Eric Jacobs rounding out your top 20. Got Michael Locke, Ryan Reyes taking the GT3 AM title. Micah Duran coming in second place. Vinicius Concalves coming in third. Cole McMillan, Oliver Day, Stephen Miller, John Mayer, James Bowders, Sean Kelly in 30th place. 31st place goes to Alexander McQuarrie. Willen Schlichting with that incident that we saw there in 32nd place. Alan Holden having a rough end to his race in 33rd. Johnny Gutierrez, Norm Graff, Tom Nacella, Matthew Overton, and Lonnie Hall rounding out your 38th place. only having 4 DNFs, that's pretty solid for some of the chaos that we definitely saw today. So, yeah, definitely interesting there.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's been an interesting race, and you can safely say that I think some of these guys are going to be extremely happy. Some of them might have an issue, I suppose. Obviously, in Matt Overton's kind of scenario, he's obviously, absolutely tanked somebody off the side of the circuit, so we know he's got a penalty incoming. But again, the likes of the normal Dan Kirby, Jerry Chen, Eduardo Bonica, I suppose the only surprise is obviously Ryan Reyes in the GT3 AMS coming through, taking the victory, because obviously they'll be unexpected, I suppose. Not a name that we've kind of seen, Ryan Reyes. So I think it's very unusual that obviously somebody new pops into the affray almost. Do you know what I mean? But I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's start with the Hypercar there. One, Mr. Jerry Chen. Oh, Jerry, welcome in.
Hello.
How are you?
Doing good. That was a good workout.
Yeah, it definitely was. How tough was it out there with the traffic?
Yeah, it was pretty difficult, especially with the closing speeds. So, but no, that was fun carving through them.
And another victory.
Yeah, it was, I think I had probably a little bit more tires through the second and third stint than Scar, so looked like he dropped back a little bit. Yeah, it was a great battle with him the first stint. We were just, I knew he was going to get me, I was on hards on the front, so I think like lap 2 or 3, he passed me going to the turn 5 hairpin at the bottom of the hill, and he passed me around the outside, which was amazing. I was like, wow, is he going to make that stick? And he did. And then I just followed him for most of the first stint, and then I think we ran into some traffic coming through the kink, and I got him at that, I think that's turn 12, the right-hander at near the end of the third sector. So, but yeah, that was pretty awesome racing with him.
Yeah, let's fun out there as well for you. Hypercar leading the championship coming in. You're going to be leading it going out, Jerry. Do we think you're going to be leading it by the end of the season?
I hope so. That's the hope. We'll see. Anything can still happen. So, one bad race and I DNF or something like that, and Scar is right back in it. So.
Okay, Jerry. Well, thanks so much for joining us there, bud. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
No, everyone on track was awesome. The traffic, the racing, everybody was awesome.
Awesome stuff. Well, Jerry, thanks so much for joining us there, buddy. And look forward to seeing you, what you can do next time out.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, now we're going to have a chat with your GT3 AM winner, one Mr. Ryan Reyes. Ryan, welcome in there, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing great. Kind of sweaty, but yeah.
That looked a tough one between you and Micah.
Oh yeah, I had some problems on my computer, so I was kind of sketched out on trying to pass him. My computer would stutter, and so would the feedback on my my base, so I wouldn't know if I'm about to hit him or go wide. So it was kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it was. Going down, it was literally down to the last lap, wasn't it? That you made the overtake, because when we went on to the final lap, I was following, obviously, Dan Kirby up front. You were behind him. How did you get in front of him?
Honestly, I have no idea. I just drove and took advantage of just, I guess, like the draft on the back straight and getting my braking markers on point. I have to thank Mac though. Mac and Alex, they've been helping me dial in the BMW settings all week. So thanks to them for getting the car set up for me. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was a good job out there as well, to be fair to you, buddy. And I think going forward, it's a massive confidence booster, isn't it? When you can take a victory like that. Where are you going to be for the rest of the rounds? Are we likely to see you? Because this is it your first race?
It's not my
No,
first
it's not,
race, but
is it?
it's no. It's one that I actually practice for though.
Ah, okay. Well, that's,
So
that's
I
always a
can
good start.
I can see. Yeah, I started a new job in a new city, so that's been taking priority. But this week it's kind of okay. So I would just go on and after work and try to run my laps in and try to memorize the track as much as I can, and it paid off.
Yeah, it definitely did there. But the guys that you have shouted out already, is there anyone else you want to shout out before we let you go?
No, that's pretty much it. That's my sim racing team. So Alex and Matt got me into it. I actually started iRacing back in I would say maybe 2012, and I stopped for all these years, and I'm 6 months back in, so it's kind of cool being competitive again. So yeah.
Awesome stuff, Ryan. Well, thanks so much for joining us there, buddy, and hopefully we'll see you next time out.
Yep. Cheers, guys.
Take care, mate. All right, that is Ryan Reyes. Now we're going to go to the GT3 winner. And obviously, who won last time out, Mr. Eduardo Benica, extends his position at the top of the GT3 Pros. Eduardo, welcome in, bud. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm fine. And you?
Yeah, not bad. How was it out there?
Yeah, I have to say that was more fun than the previous race because Mark was really fast. At some point, he almost overtook me. So he had a bit of emotion in the middle of the race. And I think the point was that I didn't need to save fuel. I thought initially that it was should be needed, but in the end, I could run flat out with in the mix quali, and I finished without needing to save anything.
Yeah, you definitely did finish there, didn't you? And you finished in style as well at the end of the day. Eduardo, for the championship, do we think?
Yeah, I think I opened a bit of points in front, and JT need to improve a bit to to give me some difficulties in the championship. Otherwise, there is no competition.
No, I fully agree with you there as well. I think you've got it going really well in that Aston Martin at the moment. I don't think the Corvette of Mac was ever going to get any close to you. We looked at you both going down the straightaway, and you just pulled out. Mac couldn't even get close with the draft. So, I think the Aston Martin, well, if they're going to look at the BOP, obviously it's a very quick car, Eduardo. It is what it is on that one. How do you see yourself going for the rest of the season, though? Are we looking at Aston Martin tracks like VIR, like Indianapolis, like Road Atlanta, do we think?
Yeah, I think we have a good selection of the tracks for the end of the season. But I think my focus now is more to help my teammates to improve, William and Eugene. I want them to improve and not as important to me for win now. And if the guys can win some races, I'll be happy for them.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, Eduardo, thank you so much for joining us there, bud. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I have to thank you, the organization, Matthew, and other guys for everything. And that's it. Thank you, guys.
All right, man. Take care. Well, there you go. That was your GT3 Pro winner. Now, we have got Matthew Overton in the booth, the man whose race was cut short by a brake failure in the car. Matt, how was the rest of the race for you sitting back as a spectator?
Really depressing because there was some great racing going on there, and I was really, really impressed with the way that you and Mike were managing that to show off some of the really close racing going on, especially the GTAM. I thought that was just super, and it's really exciting. Just goes to show that the drivers are coming to terms with the cars mostly. Almost everybody, and as a result, you're getting some really confident driving and good racing because of that. I would like to give a shout out, if I can, to Eduardo. A very generous guy. He and I were talking in the waiting room, and I was bemoaning the fact that I just had no idea how he has managed to keep the speed of the car in terms of lap times, not just overall, but lap times. And he provided a couple of hints just very graciously. So he's not just about his teammates, but he's also willing to share material and ideas for setup with others as well. So that really a super driver, and really appreciated that.
Well, that's very nice of him. Did he show you how to press a brake pedal, Matt, or?
Oh, thank you. I thought you got to see all of my entrails the first time around. I didn't realize I'd left some still inside the stomach.
Oh, I've got to give you a little wind up, Matt. Come on, let's be real about it. I wouldn't be me if I did my job. But just a little bit about the fact that you went off. I could have called you the torpedo. That would have made it a little bit worse.
Oh, I've been called worse.
Exactly.
But I've had a chat with both the guys, and they've been very gracious. And I think Brian was more interested to know whether or not he completed a full roll or two. So very appreciative of the guys being very relaxed about the whole thing. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
See what happens at VIR.
Yeah.
Don't know that it's necessarily an Aston type track, because there's quite a lot of movement on that track, and with all the BOP adjustments, the Astons become very
Heavy.
very understeery. So it really is a mark of how well Eduardo is managing that car, that he's continuing to stay at the top of the pack. Really impressive.
Yeah, I think it is. He's just done an absolutely amazing job. Matt, is there anyone else you want to shout out before we let you go, buddy?
As usual, Alec, for being a supporter in bringing you guys to our racing, and that means our racing comes to a bigger audience. And just the drivers. I mean, 38 drivers out tonight is outstanding for a Thursday evening. I'm always hugely appreciative of every driver who shows up to come out racing with us. It really makes me feel good, and glad that we're getting the racing out there that tracks them. So yeah, everybody this time around is really good of them.
Awesome, Matt. Well, thanks so much for joining us there, buddy. And we'll let you go and get some practice in for the next one, eh?
That's the 15th. We'll see what happens there.
All right, man.
All right,
Take care,
have a good
man.
one.
Bye.
Take care.
Well, there you go, Michael. Another NARS race up and done. You know, it's been a very interesting Road America. Was it a classic?
I mean, we definitely saw some classic overtakes and some classic moments, but yeah, Road America, it always kind of lends itself to some good racing. Not necessarily my favorite track, but I absolutely do think that we had a great race tonight.
Yeah, I think we do. I think it was good. I think it was some great racing all the way through the field. Once Dan Kirby got out in front though, it was good night Vienna. Jeffrey Chen still having a nice little battle with Scar Pope. Obviously Eduardo with Mac. I don't think Mac was ever going to get close. No offense, Mac, but that vet was just not quick enough. That Corvette was not quick enough. You were not going to get near that Aston Martin. And then, of course, Ryan Reyes in the BMW and Micah Doan were having a great little ding-dong down in the AMS. I'd love to find out what actually happened to Micah, because it was like he just Harry Pottered off and evaporated into a completely different world towards the end of the race. So fair play to him. But yeah, thanks so much to everybody that's joined us in YouTube chat as well. William, watch them advertising boards next time, sir, because they can catch you out. If you don't believe me, just ask George Iagilidis. And on that bombshell, we're going to love you and leave you. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Michael David here this evening. And as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, I see you on the track sometime. Good night.